So it's been about 3 weeks since we first planted our seeds, and they've already come up very nicely. As you can see, we got some corns really blowing up, some little basils here, some little tomatoes. We have big moose, pumpkins, as well as squash and kale, and more basil, and some more over here we have beets. So the system here is really working really well. What we did is we started with a perlite rich potting soil called Pro Mix. This stuff is great because it has really good drainage, and you just don't want to use regular soil from your garden. You want to get the seedling mix right here. Pro Mix is the bomb. So we then put them in our cell trays over here. The cell trays are really useful. Each one has 6 cells in it, and they come 6 to a tray, so that's 36 plants all in one little compartment here. And they have this bottom tray, which you can lift these guys right up, and it holds all the water down there. And so when you're going to water them, you water beneath the plants rather than on top of them. That keeps the soil, and they suck up all the moisture from the bottom up. Fill the tray so that every cell can get access to water. Leave it for about 15 minutes. You'll see the color of the soil will go from a light brown to a dark brown. After 15 minutes, you pour all the water out. We just keep cycling it in and out using a bucket. And that protects them from all the different diseases that could form if this was really wet up here. So far we haven't lost any plants. They're coming up great. And honestly, that's it. We haven't done anything else. Everything's in here in our very warm greenhouse. And we'll probably put these in the garden in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Alright, so it's been a little bit since the last video. It's June 16th, and as you can see, a lot of the plants that we started from seed have come up. We've got some nice tomatoes, we also have kale, basil, some lettuce. We also had some trouble with some of our seeds, like the beets here. Everything started turning yellow, and we realized it was because our greenhouse temperature just wasn't regulated very well. So on this side, we have brought up the plastic to allow an air vent, and the same on this side, and that really seemed to help out. And in addition, we managed to put them outside in the middle of the day, and that gave them more air. They really rebounded. So these are green beans, and we planted them straight into the garden rather than starting them from seed inside of the greenhouse. And to do that, we put the topsoil down as well as a little bit of manure, and then planted the seeds directly in there. It worked really well. As you can see, did the same thing for the peas. Here we bought onion sets. They weren't already sprouted with all of the green coming out of them. They were just little onions, and they're about 3 weeks in. And one trick when you're planting root vegetables like carrots, onions, or beets, throw a little bit of sand straight in there with it, because those guys like to grip onto something. And here's some we planted a while ago. These are our little carrots coming up. When we started planting the plants that had come up that we started from seed, I wasn't really sure how to put them in the straw. Some people do say you can just take whatever potting soil you have that the plant is already planted in, and just put that directly into the straw or whatever layer you have on top of the lasagna garden. We decided to put a bunch of dirt mixed with some manure, and really just threw it right on top of everything. Put the seedling in there, and that's that. Alright, so it's been about a few weeks since we put things on, we built the whole lasagna garden. We bought a bunch of straw specifically because we were told that straw doesn't contain seeds like hay does. Well, guess what? Check this out. We have a whole field of straw growing out of our lasagna garden right now. Honestly, don't know what we're going to do about it. When I saw this, I was... But one thing that turned out to be pretty good about this is lasagna gardens, since they have all the different layers, we can actually just pull this layer back here, revealing all of the grass in one swift scoop. you can pull it up. Look at this. So every one of these things is turning into a bunch of growing weeds in our garden. So I don't know about straw, guys. I don't really know. All right, so one last thing that we managed to do that really showed why lasagna gardens are pretty damn useful. We got a bunch of lawn clippings from our lawn, and we threw that on top of the straw, and it just built up around what we'd already planted here. So it really seems like it's going to keep the weeds down on another level. And hey, who knows? Maybe these grasses won't keep popping up from the straw.